Springdale Sr Secondary School presents the first edition by the Dale's Comics on how Newton discovered gravity. Hey Pipsqueaks, this is Newton. Wish to know the real story behind those terrible gravitation formulas? You're just a flick away. Many years ago, in the quaint English valley of Woolsthorpe, a young Cambridge student was enjoying the first day of his summer vacation.
What a beautiful morning! What better way to spend it than reading while I walk in the garden? But this leg strain won't let me keep up the walking. Where do I read now? Good choice, little birdie. And now for some peaceful reading finally.
And then he sat under an apple tree. But as soon as he started reading, a twig fell on his head. And then a worm. And finally, he bursted out at the bird.
Stop throwing your icky food at me, you idiot bird. Now, where was I?
But just then, an apple fell on his head, and that got into his nerves. He stood up. He picked up the apple and threw it up to hit the bird with it. But that was not quite a smart shot, because the bird flew away and the apple fell back on his head.
That is it. You are in big trouble now. Hey! The apple fell back to me, even when I threw it upwards. I'll have to speak to Nicholas about this right away.
Our student was left surprised with the apple falling downward to his head, and he ran to Nicholas, or Nick as he is fondly called. Nicholas was a simple farmer and often the test subject of our students' new ideas.
Nicholas! Nick! Open the door! It's me!
Oh dear, I wonder what he's up to now. What's the matter? Is your tail on fire?
No, but my mind is. You'll never believe it, Nick!
Believe what?
See this apple!
Yes, it's a very juicy apple.
This one fell on my head! It fell!
Yeah, sure, we don't want flying apples or such like, do we?
Gosh, you don't see it, do you? Even humans do not fly. Everything falls.
Yeah, sure. Isn't that pure obsolete logic? Look, I know you're getting education from a fancy university and all, but there are some things that you don't mess with. Remember that chap called Leonardo da Vinci? Back when he first got popular with some of his masterpieces, he thought of inventing a flying winged system for himself, and no wonder he did invent that, and he flew as well, but right down to the ground.
So, he fell?
He did, but you need not look so happy about it. Has all this taught you nothing?
Yes, it has! It has taught me more than you'd know. Thanks, Nick! You are the best!
Thanks. So what have you learned?
I learned that there is some force that pulls us to the ground. This is why human beings and apples fall. Thanks, Nick. Bye.
But that was not what you're supposed to learn. That boy, sometimes I think he's not right in the head. But nobody can blame that yummy apple for it. But, dear children, we do blame the apple and of course the little birdie for helping Nick's friend think hard enough to discover gravity. Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, then you should know that Nick's friend was none other than the famous scientist Sir Isaac Newton. But of course, the little birdie insists on taking the credit. Newton discovered a force of attraction that exists between any two bodies, masses or particles in the whole universe. He termed this force of attraction as gravity. Newton also stated the universal law of gravitation. According to it, the force is directly proportional to the product of the masses, which is F is directly proportional to mm. Therefore, if the mass of any one of the object increases, the gravitational force between them also increases. But dear children, that's not all. The universal law of gravitation also stated that the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the objects, which is F is inversely proportional to 1 by d square. So if the distance of separation is more, the gravitational force between them increases. After combining both of the equations, Newton summarized the universal law of gravitation symbolically as F is directly proportional to mm by d square. Thus, the force of gravity is dependent upon the mass of both the objects and distance between them. Years after Newton's death, Henry Cavendish, an English scientist, calculated the value of constant of proportionality for the equation of universal law of gravitation. The equation of F equaled gmm by d square, where g was the constant of proportionality and its accepted value was 6.673 into 10 to the power minus 11 mm squared kg to the power minus 2.
Ha ha ha! Dear children, Newton says bye for today.